Trump says any deal with Iran will be great and meaningful. U.S. President says that an agreement with Iran would be great and meaningful or there would be no deal. U.S. President Donald Trump said that a deal with Iran would either be meaningful or there would be no deal, days after claiming an agreement with Tehran had been largely negotiated to end the near three-month-old war. The deal with Iran will either be a great and meaningful one or there will be no deal, he wrote on his social media platform Truth Social on Monday. Washington and Tehran have observed a ceasefire since April 8, while mediators push for a negotiated settlement, although Iran has continued to block the Strait of Hormuz to most shipping and the U.S. has blockaded Iran's ports. Earlier on Monday, Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman Esmaeil Baghaei said Iran and the U.S. have reached a conclusion on a large portion of the discussion topics, but warned that this does not mean that the signing of an agreement is imminent. Addressing a news conference in Tehran on Monday, Baghaei also emphasized that at this stage, Iran and the U.S. have not been talking about the nuclear issue, and their focus is on ending the war, which began on February 28. He reiterated that there were, however, no guarantees that the U.S. would honor its commitments in any potential deal and said Tehran does not care about threats. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Washington will either secure a strong agreement with Iran or confront the country another way. We thought we might have some news last night, maybe today. I wouldn't read too much into it, Rubio said in New Delhi on Monday. Advertisement, we have what I think is a pretty solid thing on the table in terms of their ability to open up the straits, get the straits open, he told reporters in the Indian capital, where he has been on an official visit. On Sunday, Trump wrote on Truth Social that the U.S. blockade would remain in full force and effect until an agreement is reached, certified, and signed. Both sides must take their time and get it right, he added. As diplomacy ramps up, officials from key mediator Pakistan were in China on Monday. Military Chief Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif were in Beijing for talks with Chinese leaders, Pakistan television showed on Monday. China has said it would work with Pakistan to make positive contributions to the early restoration of peace and stability in the Middle East. Munir was in Tehran last week with Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi as part of mediation efforts to end the war. Points of contention as news of a potential deal emerges. A senior Trump administration official outlined what he said were the latest contours of the issues being negotiated. Speaking on the condition of anonymity, the official told the Reuters news agency that Iran had agreed, in principle, to dispose of its highly enriched uranium and opened the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for the U.S. lifting its naval blockade. The U.S. understood that Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei had endorsed the broad template of the deal. He added, there was no immediate confirmation from Iran or elaboration on what an in-principle agreement meant. The U.S. official said Washington envisioned first reopening the strait and lifting the U.S. naval blockade. Negotiating the details of the nuclear measures would take more time, he said. The official pushed back on suggestions that Iran had not accepted disposing of its stockpiled enriched uranium. It's a question about how, the official said. Charles Kupchan, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, said the back and forth between the U.S. and Iran means a deal will not likely be agreed anytime soon. I think this is kind of par for the course for the Trump administration. One day they walk this way, the next day they walk that way, he told Al Jazeera. Part of the conversations are private, part of it is public diplomacy, but until we have a concrete sense that the Iranians are likely to say yes to getting rid of their highly enriched uranium and to opening this Strait of Hormuz with no restrictions, I think one can say that we're still far away from a lasting deal, Kupchan said.